Good morning and welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mindful, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business to build relationships, empower each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, mind, and soul.
Yay. Okay. Today's special guests are, I almost said Heather, Melinda and Zoadonna Clerico from the October co-owners and entrepreneurs. So they're here to tell us a little bit about what they do and the heart of their business. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you back.
I would like to point out that they are founder and president.
That's right. President.
Something like
that. Okay. So let's start with telling us a little bit about the October Code and what they do. What do you do?
Well, we do a lot of things, but mainly insurance. We're a family brokerage, and we worked in insurance for several years before we decided that this was the thing we really wanted to do, and we wanted to help more people.
Yeah.
So we don't do cars or houses or property at this point.
We have someone we can refer people to for that.
We
right?
do.
Sure.
But that's the heart of what we do. We try to help people and open as many doors for people that by maybe traditional insurance means wouldn't be helped.
Right.
Maybe wouldn't even be comfortable in that environment. So that's kind of our mission.
And one of the things I love that is unique about you both is your relationship. So it's not just, we've met each other and we're friends. Want to tell us a little bit about what's unique about your relationship?
You know what's unique about that introduction is we always get really weirded out by at least I do.
Oh, I do.
Okay.
I do. We're mother and daughter.
Oh,
we
good.
are not. Yes, right. A lot of people have a lot of guesses when they meet us, but we're mother and daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah,
weird.
and it's all weird, and that's fine. We just moved past it.
It just gets all awkward.
We've known each other for a very long time.
Since she was born. That's
You
a
can say
very
that.
long
You can say
time.
that. Yes.
I remember my sister gave one of my little sisters gave a speech, and she was probably like 8 at a wedding, and she was like, I've known her my whole life. And then her actual brother gets up there and was like, I've actually known her my whole life. It was just so cute. Like, so it's special, right? So and I think it's really amazing the foundation and energy and that you bring to the business, because it's really founded in you're going to take care of your family, and your family includes your community.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I find it really easily with most of our clients, that we've worked with for a number of years, that they feel like family. They feel like, a normal extension of somebody that we would reach out to and help through. And that's part of our process as well, as helping people through their entire insurance process, including health advocacy, claims management, and actually finding people the right products to fit what they need. And everybody kind of needs something different, but the point is everybody needs something. So,
and there's so many options available. I just it's so important to have the conversation with you, because you have no idea. When we say we're connected to 30 different companies to help our community, they don't know the behind the scene work of contract reading and will these claims pay and all the things that go through before it even ever gets vetted enough to become one of the 30.
Right. Yeah, we work with companies that may be well known, but they're a little smaller. And so when we call and we say we have an issue with a client, they can pretty much find it by name. So instead of having, a million John Smiths in the system, they are easily able to look up stuff and help us with things.
Oh,
We didn't
that's
have that
your John
experience
Smith.
before.
Oh, we got you. It's over here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot different when we call these companies now and look for assistance, and we specifically gravitate towards the ones that answer our calls and take care of the customers immediately.
And answer the questions.
Yeah, because for us, our experience before this wasn't always so grand like that. So we look for real solutions and expect people.
We
to help us.
definitely didn't enjoy being in a space where when we asked a question, we didn't have an answer to provide.
We want to be able to provide answers.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
be like,
Give us-
Solutions.
yeah.
You would think.
Even
yes,
just an
yeah.
answer.
Yeah,
Sometimes
right,
it's
right.
better.
Now, you guys also, through these companies, provide products that people have never even heard of or knew existed. What are
True,
some
true.
of those?
That's true.
We do a lot of different things. I mean, we do just normal medical insurance and stuff with the state and Medicare, but then we do specialty things like voluntary insurance. So like policies that are designed to protect your assets,
Mhm.
not just the doctor's office's assets, which is
Right.
what most insurance is for, right?
Mhm.
So they're designed for if you get hurt or you get sick or experience a critical health event.
And I think that's really great because we have the power to work with solopreneurs, little individual people that are starting something, and they need to protect those things because when we're moms and we have our kids fall on the tile floor and break their legs, right? Like it happens. Like, we all
Wouldn't
have
wanna be
those.
about that, would you?
No, not at all. But just having that security and knowing that there's a policy that's going to pay you to take some time off with your kid, even though you're building a business and working by yourself, you get to take that time. It's amazing.
No, they're real gifts to be able to give your future self and to be able to give your family, because, you know, we all stayed home by ourselves when we were sick, so our parents could go to work. All of us did. So being able to structure something that really helps families keep going, and right now, like, helps individual solopreneurs and small family businesses keep going. And that's our mission. We need to keep doing that. We're a small business, so we know that when we signed up for all of our licenses, we didn't exactly get a handbook that says you're going to experience all of these things. You're not going to know how to do any of them, including provide health insurance.
Right.
We don't, that's not introduced. That's not a requirement. So part of what we've always done is help people get set up, you know, figure out what they need to do and fill in the blanks of what they don't know, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Exactly. Which is why making the appointment and getting one-on-one and looking at each person's life and where things fit, we have the things that fit those holes in your pie so that you can stay balanced.
And
It's
then
pretty
also
amazing.
planning for the what ifs of life, because there's a lot of stuff that happens in life that we never planned for, we don't want to happen. But the reality is, you know, life never goes as planned, ever. And so being able to protect yourself against the what ifs of life, or the inevitables, so to speak, of life is super important. And I know that from experience, you know, and we've all been through life in different pathways, and we've all had different experiences, and those experiences help form and shape you into who you are, but also to make sure that you don't lose everything in the process is super important.
Keep a roof over your head.
Keeping a roof over your head. Yeah.
And food on the table.
Yeah.
And being able to provide that for yourself and already having it in the package of benefits that you have is what we've learned.
I like
makes
that.
a big difference.
Provide it for yourself. You do not have to go to a big company.
Right.
You can get this for yourself.
100%. And in the beginning of our insurance careers, we were led to believe that certain products were only available to people in big businesses. And that's just not true.
It's not.
Anybody can get, you
Almost
know,
anything.
yeah, just about anything out there. And of course, you know, group products are, you know, meant for businesses for a reason, to help the employer package things for people. But we've learned that there's so much out there for people that we can really help with. And it's just, you know, the idea of insurance isn't always super exciting for people who wants to delve into that.
Right, it's
Just us.
Just us. We're like, could you tell me?
scary to take that
Would-
step, but these guys, Melinda and Zoe are pros. They work their magic, and it's amazing to watch them work and see them do their thing and be able to provide these coverages and these benefits to people who are like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know I could do that. That's
Right.
really cool. This
Right.
is really going to help my family, whatever that looks like for the clients. It's super exciting to watch you guys grow and build the community that you're building within the October company, and we're just reaching out to everybody and helping those who are like, well, I can't afford insurance, or they you think you can't, and then you talk to these guys and something magical happens. They figure it out, and I just really think that's really amazing, and I really love and support you guys for what you do and
Love
how
you
you
too.
do it. I love
Thank you. I appreciate it. I think that the biggest piece that people are lacking these days for insurance, and just in the same vein of thought that you were thinking, is education. And people don't know how much stuff
Well,
costs.
there's a reason for that, because if you ask people if they would like insurance or to fit.
They're like, the dead fish
fish.
sounds
Thank
better.
you for a
That
dead
is so
fish.
much better.
Why do I want to talk to you about that?
But I think that's the biggest thing they can provide to people is peace of mind and education, because you can't ever get to the peace of mind unless you understand
For
the
sure.
process and what you actually need. Everybody's
And
different.
it's a stability piece as you're growing and you want to grow and be able to be bigger in your business.
Mhm.
You can't see my hands on the recording, but I like using them to talk. As you grow, that you need to balance out, so your safety net, right? So, you might start with just, having a savings.
Mhm.
And then as you've grown and you have your savings and you're growing bigger and your business is getting bigger, what's the next step? Okay, I need to make sure that when, something happens, what could that look like? And that's where we can have this conversation. And see where that is, and that every step. So from being just the single mom starting your business or my business, as I was like very personal, to as we grow and we're bigger and our businesses are bigger, then we've got even more options, and and then we can help support employees and help you be a whole individual as you support your new community that you're building with your business.
Right, because with what you guys do, you not only help support the individuals and families, but also those businesses and those small businesses, and being able to provide benefits and coverages for the employees, which is super important for small business owners to be able to find coverage that is affordable enough for them to be able to provide that to their employees. Especially, with all the legalese of, if you're a full-time employee, then you have to have so much coverage or whatever that looks like in the world
And
today.
make sure that, if you're an older business or an organization and you're taking it over especially if you're listening as a woman in leadership and you're looking at it and you go, these are way outdated. I'm not sure if this looks right. And you need somebody to come in and look at your insurance and make sure you're offering the appropriate level to all of the employees at the right level. This
That's
is
true.
we
For
can do
today's
that
standards.
for today's standards,
Right,
like bring
right.
you up to speed. So I've seen you work your magic doing that too. And sometimes those are bigger projects.
Yeah.
We try not to take on too
Sometimes.
many huge projects like that, at a time.
Right.
Because we're still small.
Big
Family
projects are fun,
owned.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then another really interesting thing that you guys do is, and we've all changed the way we work business because of the pandemic and all the things going on, is not only do you offer in-person appointments, but you also offer Zoom appointments, phone calls, any basically avenue that the client feels safe in.
Yeah.
And how they want to conduct business, they can connect with you guys on whatever means. I've seen you do business on text message. I've seen you do business on Facebook. I've seen you do business anywhere and everywhere, because that flexibility and creating that space for everybody to feel safe is also a really important part of what you do.
I think at this point in the world, whether there had been a pandemic or not, business needed to get to that point anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For
Yeah,
most
absolutely.
businesses, because everything moved online
Yeah,
long before 2020,
Mm-hmm.
right,
and a lot of people and companies didn't.
Right.
And so we had to watch a lot of our friends with small businesses struggle and suffer even before everything was bad.
Mhm. So they were some of the first ones to go because it was just too much. And that's been super sad to watch.
Yeah.
It has been.
Yeah. And a lot of people now are beginning to rebuild,
Mhm.
restart the businesses that maybe they closed their doors or kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit because of everything going on. And now things are starting to really move forward again,
Mhm.
and which feels really great energetically. And I feel like we're in the middle of this shift, right? And people are ready to go. And so I just feel like that's really important. I lost track of where I was going, but that's okay.
No, I see where you're going with that, though. I think that because we were all cooped up, whether we were still working or not, which we did work
We
quite a
never
bit,
stopped.
we kept
I feel
trying
like we
the
never-
whole time.
We showed
right?
up like every day trying to figure out what to do next.
I would like to say that I took a 4.5-day maternity leave.
I know.
We
How
did
dare you? In that
That's
entire
true.
time you were giving birth.
I know. It was
That
about
wasn't.
that
That was.
That was about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was quite,
Yeah.
Quite a
I feel
long
like we
wait
just
for
me.
kept going. Never stopped learning
Yeah.
more about what it means to have this license and what it covers and the scope of the license. Like there's a lot of things that we didn't know were
Yeah.
general things that were real instead of
Right.
and accessible. That's what I mean. I was
Even
I was seeing a
yeah,
closed door in my head. Like we thought all these doors were closed.
we can help folks look at what their potential retirement would look like. We can put people into annuity vehicles that work for them. We can help people plan. And that's kind of the essence of being able to do a whole benefit package for somebody is where have you been? Where are you at? Where are you going? And this is how we structure
Where does your
it.
money need to go? Where does your money need to stay? And what do we do to help you keep the most out of your money?
Right.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
stuff that just doesn't feel accessible to a lot of people that need that sort of support.
Oh, everyone needs that sort
And-
of support. It
Oh, yeah.
doesn't matter
And
how
as
much money you make, all of the money is designed to be in your pocket.
That's true.
and as business grows, you think at what time should I have that discussion?
I mean, I
As
think
soon
you
as you
need
have a job.
the education needs to come early because if you think about the rate of which we've learned things as adults, like I was definitely 35 before I realized I hadn't bought my life insurance and it was going to be real expensive real soon if I didn't get on that. I mean, I'm just thinking about things that you should just know. Rates go up, you get older, everything's more expensive.
Every
That's
year
how
on
it
your
works.
birthday.
I was gonna say everybody has a today years old moment.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right. And if you guys are looking for an incredible gift to give to your children, life insurance is the
Absolutely.
way to go because it is super cheap when they're little.
Right.
And it only gets more expensive.
True.
And once you purchase that life insurance, unless you make changes to it or
Mhm.
whatever, the payment stays the same.
They're usually pretty rate stable is what we like to say. And
Yeah.
we can't promise that companies will never increase their rates, but saying that things are rate stable just means that in our history of it, there hasn't been any changes that we've seen.
Right.
So we try to stick to that line because unfortunately we don't own all those companies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We only
different
own our own
conversation.
selves.
That's right.
Mhm,
Right.
for sure.
And another thing
sure.
I've noticed in more recent years is more and more people are becoming chronically ill.
Yeah.
For various reasons and things like that. And I know my own children have medical needs and necessities that they're gonna have for their entire lives.
Yeah.
And so being able to not only get them life insurance while I still can, because once they're adults, they're not,
Right.
it becomes
Everything's
infinitely
harder.
more,
Mhm.
more money and harder to cover.
Right.
But also, they will have that safety net for them and their families and their kids way into the future. So life insurance for your children, I think, is super important. And we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's just the way of things.
That's true, and definitely every aspect of our lives, and all of it affects our health. It's
Right.
just so when we're not taking care of ourselves and we don't have the right systems in place, when we do get sick, it becomes much harder to deal with. And I think about that all the time with people that don't have proper access to even be able to ask questions. So we have services that provide telehealth for folks so that you can call in and you can get additional assistance. We have vehicles for saving money for health related issues.
Expenditures, yeah.
And that grow.
Yeah.
So you can be saving, the account can be growing, and then when you need it, you've got the money for it. And people don't.
I like that one because it doesn't all come out of your pocket,
Right.
because it's growing with it. It's a matching type of a fund. I love that one.
Yeah.
I love any money we can get for people that's not out of their own pocket, right? Like, yeah,
for sure.
I think that's why I love it when we're processing claims for people, because it really is like we're taking this difficult process, making it easier for them, and really connecting them to the benefits of what we're offering them. Absolutely. And I love that. So, and following it through all the way through, I think people are worried they're going to be dropped. And
we experienced a lot of that in the beginning of our life in insurance, that it, a lot of people leave and then they don't have people to turn to. So we made promises to people, and we always want to honor those. If people need help, we still want to help them. Right. That's what we said we do.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed.
Making sure your community, that your neighbors and your friends are taken care of, is huge.
I mean, I don't know about you, but if you had somebody that walked you through an entire process, let's just pretend it's cable and internet. And they said, I'm going to be here for you. If this breaks, you just need to call me. I'll help you troubleshoot it. It won't take you 3 hours on the phone to get a person. I'll be the person for you. How much better would you appreciate paying for that expensive service if that person actually kept that promise? Because there's no way, our society isn't even built for that. The PUD guy also would probably like to help you more than he's physically able to. So us having our own company means we can say that we're going to do that and then do it. Right. And it's on us. And I expect it to be. So that's something that we wanted to achieve, and we're really trying to.
Standard of the follow.
Absolutely. We want to be helpful. We want to make people not only comfortable coming in, but taken care of and feel confident enough to use their products and ask for help when they need it.
Right. So. Right. And I also know that so many times I not forgot, but like didn't realize that the insurance I have covers some of the things that I didn't know it did.
Oh, right.
So again, the education piece really, you guys really
that's
walk people through the process and be like, okay, just so you know, this is what it covers, and making sure they know and understand what they're getting.
And the next sentence I will say, and you will forget everything I said, I will see you again next year to do this again.
Annual review.
Because you should. Otherwise, you have no idea what you have. You'll forget. Where did I put that file? What if it is life insurance? No one in my family knows I have it. Maybe you just need to find it. Maybe you need to register yourself online. There's a lot of things that people just, we're super busy. We're inundated with the idea that being busy makes us super successful. So we speed up and speed up and speed up. And then we lose track of taking care of all the things.
One of my favorite things was one time we went to lunch with a client, and they handed me their phone, and I was able to just log them in and get them in and get their claims filed. And like by the end of lunch, they practically had the check was in the mail practically.
It was,
Like,
I remember
it was
that.
just like, doing those little extra things where we're actually getting people logged in. Because I don't know about you, but passwords are not my friend.
Not at all.
Heck no. So I'm all about
Yeah.
let me help you through that.
Right.
This sucks.
It
Let me be your
does.
friend. I've always loved working with you guys and as your administrative assistant, as an agent, and just always growing. Like,
We have
I
a
loved
long
it.
history with
We
you.
do.
We have a long history with you too, but only recently.
Only
in work.
recently with work, yes. So I have actually known Zoe and Melinda for about 14 years now. So it's been a very long time.
See, you think about how old the babies
That's
were.
crazy.
Right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's insane.
And I'm
Time
getting
keeps
close to
going
have that.
fast.
Time keeps going
I don't
fast.
know.
Everything.
And we've
happens
lost
so
track and
much.
we've come back.
That's
And
true.
it's like we're always somehow interconnected.
Yeah.
And the universe brings us together for things. And then we might drift apart for a little bit. And then we just come back together.
That's how it works.
And yeah, it's just crazy.
For
And
sure.
It's been fun. So what next?
Did you grab the books?
I
You
did grab the
did grab
books.
the books. Good
Okay.
job.
So we are gonna actually get around to doing our meditation reading and stuff today. And I invite you guys to join us. We're gonna do the meditation reading and then talk about it.
Okay.
And then
Let's
the same
give
thing
them
with the
something
Paths of the
to
Yoga
talk
Sutras book.
about.
So from Meditations from the Mat, we are on day 10 today.
And let's start by taking some slow deep breaths and relaxing. Breathe in through our mouth or my mouth.
In through the nose, out
That's
through
why
the
she
mouth.
does that part, right?
Roll the shoulders a few times, really get yourself relaxed. If you're driving, do not close your eyes. Safety first. Okay, this is your reminder, safety first. If you are driving and you'd like to pull over, please do so.
Or pause. If you're listening on the podcast, you can go out and download it and save this part for later.
All right. Day 10. I had seen birth and death, but I had thought they were different. This birth was hard and bitter agony for us. Like death, our death, we returned to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here in the old dispensation. T.S. Eliot. In this beautiful passage from Journey of the Magi, one of the three wise men calls his experience of the birth of Christ. His revelation captures a powerful aspect of Viraga, or renunciation. Before we are truly ready to renounce something, renunciation seems like a pointless sacrifice. Sure, we tell ourselves, I'd love to take a run every morning, but I really prefer to sleep in. But then there is a shift in perception. The furniture of our life gets moved and we are forced to pay attention. In the experience of the Magi, a birth signals the death of our old way of life. More often than not, however, the shift in our perception is associated with some kind of loss, a literal death, or the death of some aspect of our false self. We may lose a coveted opportunity or a door that we thought would always be open unexpectedly slammed shut. Suddenly, we are seeing the world with new eyes. In the wake of this death, we are born to a new understanding. We are no longer at ease with the old dispensations. We look at our friends, our habits, our choices, and see them all in the new light, as all our old assumptions fall away. The soil of our life is ready for Viraga. Now that I've told you that renunciation is an aspect of the yogic path, you may be thinking that I keep a hair shirt in the back of my closet that I'm about to ask you to wear one too. But it is important to remember that the nature of all lasting change is less radical. Long before we actually die to an old behavior, the way has been paved for a new one. By the time we actually arrive at the decision to let go of something, we shall be glad of another death when we are ready to let go. When we do, we will do so with relief. We will experience renunciation not as death, but as birth. Take a couple more breaths. And I'm going to read that last sentence again. When we are ready to let go, we will do so with relief. We will experience renunciation, not as a death, but as a birth.
I always say that if I'm arguing and fighting with you, that's good. You should be afraid when I don't argue and fight with you because I've made a decision.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yep.
And there's this energetic shift when we decide to let something go, because it's like we've dealt with the shit of it, we've dealt with the crap of it, and we're over it, and we're ready to let it go. And so releasing that negative experience, that negative energy, is incredibly freeing. And then this also comes back to, as women in business, right? This is something that we have to do on a regular basis as we keep moving forward in many small ways, right? So
You're gonna let the irritation of the dishes piling up go, going to let the irritation of the laundry go, going to focus on my work today, like when we put on all the different hats, sometimes, they kind of come together. I like our tool of doing a big brain dump, like when we sit down to work, like, okay, what are all the things on the mind? What do I need to focus on over here? These are home things. I end up now doing almost like categories. Like now that I've been doing it and using it as a tool, I'll find myself sorting things into a category as I put them down on a paper now. It's interesting.
How much in through the learning and growing have you had to let go of, like, self-limiting beliefs, negative shit you feed yourself,
negative things from other people?
Right.
I was thinking it was primarily people
In
this industry.
In this industry, and I think in business.
I meant the industry.
Well, just I was going to say sort of in general. I think there's lots that we've had to let go of, and the idea of what someone is to you. For us, I think for me, well, I'll just say for me, we've had some dramatic shifts in the last couple of years and recently, and I think that it's like, oh, I have to let go of my idea of what you're supposed to be and relinquish control, because we only have so much, and how much we feed, we could just say that's like the feed the demon, feed the
negative
there's
cookie.
the negative cookie,
The negative cookie monster.
Okay.
I was like,
I don't know. Do you know something we just?
but I think that, like, my husband is the one that stops me from the majority of this. She's like, I'm about done hearing about this every day for 3 weeks. I can't do anymore. How are you okay? And I'm like, please let me do it. That's how I'm okay.
Thank you so much.
So,
Thank you for listening.
Right? There's a lot of stuff that we, everybody has a different diet. How about that? Everybody has a different nutritional requirement for the type of input they receive and do well on, and the type of input that they receive and do poorly.
That's
on.
a really nice way to put it.
So we may learn one way and get feedback one way and do well with it. You two may not, or it may be each of us doing an individual way that we can receive that input. The input could be people, it could be, everything stems from people, right? So whether it's words or it's something we read or something we heard or something someone did, it's usually the basis of it is people. And I see what you are trying to do is create the group of people that can support each other,
right?
Whether it's
Empower
virtual or in
each
person
other.
or do business with each other, just to
Yeah.
keep going, because we all deserve to keep going doing what we really love. And I think-
Exactly.
And
yeah.
coming in authentically as ourselves and not pretending to fit in a box.
Mhm.
Okay, because we've talked about the fact that none of
We
us fit
don't.
in the box.
Not at all.
And that's okay. And
Yeah.
embracing who we are
I think
and what we do.
that we are born with, like, before we're even born, there's this like preconceived idea of what it means to be our gender, what it means to be that role, and how we're going to play it out in life. And I think that in general, we have just thrown that off the table and we're over it.
Yeah.
We're
That's
like, no,
fantastic.
we are going to be the breadwinners. We're going to be leading our communities. We always have been leading our communities from behind the scenes, but no more behind the scenes. We're leading our communities.
We just keep moving forward.
It's cool stuff.
Yeah,
It
it is
is.
really cool
Mhm.
stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and get into our reading for today from Path of the Yoga Sutras. We're on day 10. Karma and Samskara, action and its imprint. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Karma is a popular word with many connotations. Karma means action or activity that produces a result and leaves behind an energetic impression inside our heart mind. Karma can originate from us as a thought, word, or deed, or it can be something we perceive with our senses, such as a movie we watch or a song that we hear. Every karma has consequences, which may occur sooner or later and may be obvious or subtle. Karma is recorded in our memory, and it is said in the memory bank of the universe. On a cosmic level, Isaac Newton's third law of motion states, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The cause of an action contains its effects in subtle form. The universe is a continuous dance of energy. If we want to contribute the energy of kindness and compassion to the universe, we must act that way. Positive energy begets positive energy, and vice versa. For example, have you noticed how you feel around someone who is kind, generous, and happy? Does it make you feel more that way? On the other hand, when you are in the company of a negative, mean, pessimistic person, how do you feel? Our heart mind, our chitta, influences and is influenced by whatever we choose to be around. Karma has the sense of retribution. It is said, what goes around comes around. On an individual level, the science of yoga accepts the theory of reincarnation, where an individual soul inhabits a body and inhabits body after body through cycles of birth and death. The soul is said to carry the residue of our actions from life to life, seeking to improve each time. If a person evolves spiritually and acts in a virtuous way without being attached to the results, then these actions do not accumulate in memory. Eventually, the previously incurred karma works itself out, and the person is said to become enlightened, never to be reborn again. On the other hand, if individuals degrade over the course of their lifetime, then it is said they will have to be reborn into a more difficult life, maybe even as a lower form of consciousness, such as a snake or insect. Therefore, the law of karma encourages us to act selflessly and for the benefit of others. It may take a long time, even another lifetime, for karmic payback to happen. Each time you perform a positive action, it is like depositing money into your karmic bank account. Each time you do something hurtful or negative, it is like writing a check from that bank account. The goal is to build up as much karmic currency as possible in order to ensure your current and future lifetimes will be filled with positive, happy energy. The bottom line is the golden rule. Whatever effects our actions have, those effects will come back to us at some point in the future. According to yoga, actions can be good, bad, or neutral, and each type will create impressions in memory accordingly. These actions are often influenced or directed by our deep conditioning, and so are considered to be somewhat unconscious, programmed by our past. In addition to action, there are inaction and non-action. and each has different results. Inaction is the gray limbo of indecision when we cannot decide what to do. This is considered the worst form of action because nothing is moving or happening. It is said in business that even a bad decision is better than no decision at all. Arjuna, the protagonist on the Bhagavad Gita, represents a human who is caught in this stifling state of mind. Krishna, his divine counselor, encourages him to act even though that action appears on the outside to go against what seems right. Inaction goes against the flow of the universe, which is moving and changing all the time. Non-action is the eventual goal, acting directly from our unconditioned, pure inner self, with no attachment to the results. This kind of action is not directed or influenced by our conditioning, our samskaras. We are not really the doer and thus do not create any new or reinforce any existing samskaras. Non-action means acting selflessly and offering the results to the divine. Voluntarily feeding the hungry at a soup kitchen and considering every serving of food to be an offering to the universe is an example of non-action. The actions of a true yogin are considered non-actions, which, because they are selfless and serve to weaken distracting samskaras, move the yogin closer to a heart-mind connected to pure awareness. This is a really long chapter, so I'm going to stop there for today because I think that gives us a lot of things to talk about. We'll continue this chapter next time. So let's talk about that. Oh my gosh, karma and the universe, right? We all talk about universal intelligence and how what we put out in the universe, like, hey, universe, this is what I need. This is what I want. And also, those negative things like, I can't do this because, right? Those come back to bite us in the butt, right?
Yeah.
In good ways and in bad.
I always like to write the obstacles down, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the coaching over the years is like, well, what's the problem? Me. Coach me to that. Me. I'm the problem. It's me. I mean, being honest, like in the thought processes I have, like the more we tell ourselves we can't.
Right. That's true. I agree with that. I was just having a conversation with, was it with you about doing to others, or was it with like one of the boys? Because we were just having this conversation. I can't remember the exact reason for it, but I was like, so like the basis, we were talking about religion and we were talking about life and how I think of things, and that golden rule thing, it stuck with me. But it is actually true. Like, you can stop me. I'm not versed on every single religion in the world, but for the religions I know about and understand somewhat, doing to others as you would do unto you is pretty much there in some form or another. Rule. Karma is another version of that rule. It's just, if you want to be treated well, you treat others well. You behave like you want to have people behave around you. And that should
be like a basic rule for societal interactions.
Right. Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean being perfect either.
No, it's not about that.
Or, making yourself try to be small, right?
Yeah.
I liked that you are still allowed to have your emotions, but you don't have to vomit them on everyone around you. So you're like, okay, I'm really, really, really upset. But instead of staying right here in your face, be like, I'm going to take a second. I'm going to turn over here. I'm going to have my moment and I'm going to come back. Okay, let's go. What do we got?
That's a lot of growth to be able to do that.
And to stop yourself in the middle. Like,
that's huge.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I didn't know my vibrations were going to interfere with your vibrations in such a strong way. I'm going to back away now. Bye.
Somehow that fits into our entire conversation, because we've decided that in most people's minds, busy equals successful. If you're too busy, you can't pay attention to your health, your personal business of running a house, running a self, running a home, running a family, But also, if you're too busy, you don't know what your partner's breath means. You don't know what
Right.
that
You label
sound
it.
meant that person made over there, who's about to be your client. Never mind, they're not. That you have to be in tune in order to do that. And I know I'm not perfectly in tune at all, but I can pick up on a lot of that stuff, and it's an effort to try to not be so busy
Even
that
changing
can
our
see
language from labeling it like, man, that sigh was angry, to like, hey, you want to tell me about that sigh? Like that opens it up to like, I'm not labeling what your sigh.
Or the intake.
So I have always had a habit.
Side intake, like,
So if you have waited on me with an attitude, I will have probably talked to you about it, but I will probably not have said, what's with your attitude? I will probably have said, oh my gosh, are you okay? I'm kind of feeling you're having a day. I'm kind of having a day too. And generally that knocks people off of wherever they are.
Right.
And you don't have to go further than that with most people, but some people want to fight you. It's true. I was actually more thinking about like that guy at Ross.
Or are you lighting it? Which one?
We were getting coffee in the last week or two, and the gal was on that tipping charge. Like I could tell she was getting feisty. As I was like, we need to compliment her. I was like, she and in just a couple of seconds of interacting and getting a compliment, we watched her energy shift back to happy mode. Like she was just on that tipping point. Like she's about ready to start snapping people's heads off. Like she doesn't mean to be, but like you can see it.
Trying to assume that people don't mean to be is a pretty positive decision.
We always come
probably.
back to the 4 agreements.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, assume the best. If it's the worst, that's not on me. I mean, in all honesty, we can't control other people's stuff either. So our efforts to at least spread something.
If you're gonna do the worst, just be the best at it.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
Absolutely.
Be good at something, right?
Yes. Why
Everyone's
not?
good at something.
Yes.
I
Love it. True story.
Now, do we like what they're good at? Do we ever have to see them again?
No. We get to choose.
Yes. And sometimes it's really important to choose what kind of energy you're going to take on for that day or that moment.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that lifetime. Because there's some energy that you're like, no, that's a hard pass.
That's a nope.
And then other energy is like, I think I might be able to work with this just a little bit, but I have to set my boundaries, right?
So I find myself going, oh, I don't want to do that. Of course, you probably don't want to do that. And then that's not true, because you're a totally separate person than me, and you will take on things that I won't.
Yes.
I'll go, nah,
You're like,
I'm
this is
see
the
ya.
thing, and I'll be like, but it could be a fun thing. And you're like,
Not for me.
Who wants to fill out more paperwork? It'll be fun, they said.
Oh, they lied. Do you guys remember, did you watch Modern Family ever?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's this episode where Luke like designs this thing for doctors. Do you remember this? He and this like entrepreneur, like angel investor guy create this software app, and it goes in doctors' offices. It's like what Epic is now, except that's a different story.
Right.
But basically they know who you are everywhere you go. So you just sort of like have this card and you put it in the machine, and then they scan it and see you, or something like that, right? So you didn't have to fill out doctor forms with all your symptoms and all of your medical history and your family history ever again.
Time.
And I was thinking, yeah, that's brilliant. I don't know anybody. I know people who like paper. I like paper. I don't want to fill anything out. Nobody wants to fill anything out. So,
I just want it all printed pretty for me. Like,
yeah, that's fine.
Thanks.
Somebody else also do that.
Right?
Yeah.
Me.
everyone has a thing.
Yes,
Right.
not mine.
Let me get organized for us.
Disorganization would be one of my strengths.
I'm good at that. We have help.
We have help.
knowing your strengths is important too.
Yeah, it is.
Organization is a
Especially in
good strength to
business.
know.
Yeah, it is. I've actually decided that I don't necessarily have to be perfect. Like I used to really punish myself for not being super organized. And you find ways through it and, you know, appropriate people within your organization to take on roles like that. I'm pointing this way, like really hard.
I just can't seem to think of anyone that's been able quite to help us.
Because
For
I
those of
was
who
just,
can't
you know,
see, they keep pointing at Heather, right?
for fun at the beginning of the pandemic life, I took a class on virtual assistants.
Yeah, you did. More than one.
Yeah, I have it's a series, it's a
seminar.
whole thing, it's a whole organization. I'm actually a certified virtual expert, which is a whole like
Another
registered
level.
copyrighted
It should be
thing.
like after your name
It
on your
should.
business card.
It should. I forget
would be
that
cool.
I did these things like
Again,
There was a couple
reminding
months
Heather she's
there.
smart. She knows
You were-
things, right?
You were taking a break. They were all good.
Yeah,
Some
I was
healing
like,
to do.
It's okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is.
And now we're ready to
We all
roll.
kind of did it in the same time periods, so we're just
Yeah.
all, you know, we're in sync. We're getting there.
So
Where we
my
wanna
healing
go.
process with I've lost 170 pounds. You've lost 170
Something
Wow.
like that. Yeah.
and I'm
Plus more
looking
people.
to whole actual healthy people. Who's that? I don't know what that is. We
Right.
were looking today at my vision board, and we were really excited to see how much I've completed this year. And one of those things was getting my hernia repaired with nutrition and not having the gastric bypass surgery and doing more damage to my body before we got better. And we're almost healed. I'm super excited. And then we're really moving into this confidence phase and learning what I want to take about another 50 pounds off and see what that feels like for me and settle into that. So I did this 3-day experience and I'm really excited about it. And I lost 6 pounds and I
Wow.
had so much energy. The last time I did a 60-hour fast, the last products I was using to assist, I would still spend the second day just in bed sleeping, like, you know, because your body's doing all that repair. So I had so much energy. We were spent the whole day at the salon. So I was like, I'm sitting at the salon and I'm like, it's 5:30 and I haven't had a nap. And what is happening? Like, this is crazy. So I'm just really excited to find these new products that are really coming from fruits and vegetables for energy and really coming very fresh as farm to table as you can get for a supplement. Like that's kind of the goal. And then the part there, hopefully what I'm seeing is you're glowing from the inside out. So there are nutrition blessed and beauty obsessed. So we're very excited to be bringing these lashes that women can do at home that are do-it-yourself extensions that are going to last you 3, 5, 14 days. Like, people are really taking care of them and they're lasting long.
That's cool.
So it's a fraction of the cost, super low maintenance, like time wise, like in less than 15 minutes. Baseball player dudes are putting them on for the first time on live. Like, I'm like, this is hilarious. Absolutely my favorite. But what I really like about them is because when you put fake lashes on, you're putting them on over your lashes. So you're kind of weighing down your eyes. These you put underneath your lashes, so it really lifts up and opens and brightens your eyes. So when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, your eyes are bright and ready for the day. And so that first look in the mirror, you're starting it with a boost of confidence for yourself. Because you can see you. Like, it's super cool. So I'm really excited about what we're doing.
I'm gonna try the naturals because I hear the naturals are short enough for those of us who wear glasses.
Okay, that's always a thing with me where I'm like,
right? Exactly.
Ladies, may I present you another option? Give up on glasses.
Give up.
So
Just
as,
blind.
as the most blind person here,
Right.
I can assure you it's not all bad.
It's not all bad.
I
gonna have
have
to watch one of
contacts
the
and I
videos.
like contacts and I like my face with contacts, but I can't see as well. Reading things is still hard with my contacts.
Oh.
And it's just I don't like them that much.
Oh,
I've
I
never
was just
had that.
suggesting being blind.
Oh well,
I don't wear contacts.
It's fine. It's colors, it's all good.
That's true. I don't know what's
My
going on.
teenager's doing it.
Vision. I've lost most of my other vision. I'm just embracing it.
Like it just is what it
That's what I'm
is.
It is a
doing.
strength.
Crazy over here. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I am.
So
I'm offering a 3-day experience in my link tree, which is in our podcast description. You can go there, fill out a form on Google Form, and order your 3-day experience for $25 if you want. So that's there. And this is the part where we usually talk about the October company, and we don't have to read anything from you. We can say, hey, will you tell us a little bit about open enrollment?
Yes. Well, this is the time of year where if you work for, a big company, they're usually getting you through open enrollment and starting for your new January 1st benefits. It's also the time of year as an individual that the Washington Exchange has opened its doors, so to speak, to enroll between now and December 15th for a January 1st start date, and by January 15th for a February 1st start date. So
It's nice that they added that extra month. So when you're going, oh my gosh,
I
on
forgot.
December 15th at midnight.
Right.
the holidays took me away, and now I need to focus
The
on it.
majority of our customers contact me a couple days before the deadline, so I have no time to do anything. So get on it if you need help.
10 p.m. on the 15th.
I did it all the way up until
I
midnight last
did
year.
too.
We
Yeah.
did. We
I
all
did
stayed at the
too.
office together. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was the longest day we ever
Oh.
did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember that.
It was fun, actually.
That
was-
actually was the year before.
Was that
Was
the
it?
year before?
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
because last year,
Because last year we
remember-
couldn't.
Right, last year we were doing it
That was the year
separately.
before.
Yeah.
I totally. You sure it wasn't last year?
I don't know.
I
We
don't
lost a
know.
whole
There's
year.
probably-
Yeah.
Well, again,
It was
I
a
forgot
good
my glasses at
experience.
some point, and I just haven't seen a calendar since then.
Here we go.
It's one way
right?
to not negative.
I love it. I love it. It's a resource using your tools. I love it.
Absolutely.
Or not using them.
So if you have questions about open enrollment, reach out now so we can schedule you an appointment. We'll get you in before the big rush.
Absolutely.
And we'll be happy to help you guys out. So I'm gonna say that.
All right. So be sure to follow us on social media at Women in Leadership BSMB, and listen to us on our podcast everywhere you can find podcasts, but Pandora soon to be coming. They're having a backlog in their requests for podcasts.
Did
which
you
is
guys
kind of
know you
interesting.
can listen to podcasts on Facebook? I figured out how to do that. And so now on our Facebook page, you can download and listen to our podcast. So that's pretty
Pretty
cool.
Yes, that is where we.
And then you can also stream it or cast it to your TV. So you can
figure
cast-
it out.
It's so,
So
cool. I
cool.
love casting my Facebook watch things to my TV.
You can also cast things to your car.
What?
It's Bluetooth.
Oh. I was like, what do you mean? I hope that screen doesn't work. That would be so cool.
Well, you really threw us in a
have our
frenzy.
next business
Right.
idea.
Yeah. Shh.
Let's give it.
So if you guys are interested in being
TM.
part of our podcast, please email us at womeninleadershipbsmb@gmail.com. We'll send you all the information on the next steps, and we're looking forward to connecting and building relationships with more community leaders.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, and Soul and Business podcast. We'll see you next time.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.